Alrighty, in this video we are going to do some practice problems together. I'll probably do the first two columns, maybe, we'll see. And then I'll let you guys do the third column. Alright, so we want to simplify the following. Now the first one, remember that this is just me combining like terms. And remember how I told you guys in the first video that we do not do anything with our exponents here because we're just subtracting. So we have a3, b2, a to the third, b squared. I have 3 minus 5 though. I am going to do something with that. So 3 minus 5 is negative 2. For number 4, we have a to the 4 times a to the 3. You guys can do two things. You guys can either expand this or know that you add them, and then that's going to give you a to the 7. So 4 plus 3 is 7. For number 7, remember that we are going to multiply the coefficients together, so don't add them. So negative 5 times negative 3 is 15. And then we are going to look at our exponents here, 3 and 4. Because this is multiplication, I'm going to add them together, which gives me x to the 7. For number 10, I'm going to do negative 4y to the 4th. And I'm going to expand this so that you can see what's happening here. We are going to do negative 4 times negative 4, which is positive 16. Then we are going to do y to the 4th times y to the 4th. And remember, we are adding our exponents here. So that gives me 16 y to the 8th. Now, if you did not want to expand this, remember I told you that with exponents and coefficients, you would raise the 2 with this negative 4. So negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. And then you multiply 4 and 2 to get 8. All right, so number 13 is a little bit complicated because we have to do the power to a power first, and then we have to do the product property. Now, one thing about this is that you'll see that we have a negative exponent here and a negative exponent here. The first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and remove them by putting it in the denominator. And then what I'm going to do is simplify the first term. So you'll notice that we have 4 as your base. I have a 3 as an exponent. So 4 times 4 times 4, if you don't know that, that is 64. And then a to the 1 to the 3rd power is a to the 3. We are then going to simplify a to the 3rd times a to the 4th. And that's going to give me a to the 7th because we are adding them. So my final answer is 1 over 64, a to the 7th. All right, for number 16, 9 divided by 3 is 3, so that's perfect. And then we have d to the 8th over d to the 10. Since this is a quotient, since we're dividing, we are subtracting our exponents. So 8 minus 10 is negative 2. And then we are going to look at this and say, oh no, I don't like this because we have a negative exponent. So then I'm going to bring it down to get to my final answer of 3 over d squared. Now, one thing to note here you'll see that 10 is bigger than 8, and you'll see that 10 is in the denominator. So what I can do here is think 10 minus 8, which is 2, and then we'll just have 2 remaining in the denominator. So you don't have to do this right here where you do 8 minus 10. Instead, you might say, okay, which one's bigger? Is it the top or is it the bottom? And then put your exponents there. 19, we have 2y to the 5th to the 4th power. Remember that I'm going to raise that 2 with 4. So I have 2 to the 4th, or 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. Four times 2 is 8. And then 8 times 2 is 16. So my answer here is going to be 16. Now we are still doing a power to a power with my 5 here. So 5 times 4 is 20. Look at y to the 20th. All right, so we still have the 10 on y to the 15. So now we are going to do 16 divided by 10. That is a GCF of 2. So I'm going to do 8 over 5. And then I'm going to look at 20 and a 15. Since this is the quotient property, I'm going to subtract. 20 minus 15 is 5. So I get y to the 5th. All right. Let's do some harder problems. Like number 20. Now we have a quotient property inside the power property here. So what I'm going to do first, you could either do two things. You could either power everything, or you can simplify the inner part. So simplify the fraction, and then raise it to a power of 4, which is what I'm going to do. Now we have x's and y's, so remember to be careful in terms of doing the quotient property here. X to the 5, x to the 3rd, 5 minus 3 is 2. So that gives you that right there. And then we also have y to the 3rd, y to the 6th. So 3 minus 6 is negative 3. But you'll notice that because 6 is at the bottom and it's higher than 3, I know that this right here is going to be y to the 3rd. And then don't forget that this is still being raised to the 4th power. So now we have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is also 9. 9 times 9 is 81. So I have 81 right here. And that was from 3 to the 4th. Now I'm going to do x squared to the 4th. So a power to a power. If I multiply them, I'll get x to the 8 right here. And then I get y to the 12 whenever I multiply 4 and 3 together. So this is my final answer. Very cool. All right, let's do one more. Let's do something like number 11 here, where I have a power to a power, but I also have the product property. The first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and distribute this exponent to 4 by using my power to a power. Now remember, b has the power of 1 right here. So I'm going to have a to the 8, since I multiplied the 2 and the 4. B to the 4, since I multiplied the 1 and the 4. C to the 12, because I've multiplied the 3 and the 4. And then I have, let's see, b is green, huh? So I have b squared to the 3rd, and then c to the 3rd. B squared to the 3rd is b to the 6, because 2 times 3 is 6. And then c to the 1 times 3 is 3. That's going to be c to the 3rd. And that means that I have simplified the first part, aka putting everything as a power to a power. Our second part now is looking at the highlighted parts and thinking, because this is multiplication, I'm going to add my exponents now. I really can't add 8 to the 8 because it's lonely, it doesn't have a friend, so it's just going to be there sitting pretty. B to the 4 and B to the 6 right here will give us B to the 10 because I'm adding them. And then C to the 12 and C to the 3rd gives me C to the 15 because I add 12 and 3. Okay, so this was a lot. We'll do more practice on this on Monday. For now, if we still have time, try to do the other problems in terms of more practice. So probably this right here, and then maybe this right here. Alrighty.